A concussion can come from a direct blow to the head, face, or neck, or an indirect force transmitted to the head. These forces can be rotational or linear. Rotational forces are being found to be much worse because of the stress it places on the brainstem. The two mechanisms for concussion are coup and counter-coup. Coup is described as an impact acceleration and occurs on the side of impact. Counter-coup is described as an impact deceleration and occurs on opposite side of the impact. Unfortunately, at this time, there is no equipment that can prevent concussions from happening. The pathophysiology of a concussion is the following. After a violent shaking of the brain, a neurometabolic cascade happens. The cascade is a complex cascade of ionic, metabolic, and pathophysiological events with axon injury occurring. This cascade causes an imbalance of energy and supply and demand. The neuron, after a violent shake, first, potassium will leak out because the neuron has been stretched. The leaking, stretched neuron will increase the demand for glycolysis, for energy. As the potassium leaks out, calcium will fill in. Calcium filling in will cause a decrease in cerebral blood flow and a metabolic dysfunction. The cell needs energy at this point, but can't find it. This causes a metabolic crisis. The metabolic dysfunction causes a mass release of neurotransmitters. The mass release inhibits communication with other cells. At this point, the neuron is in a very vulnerable state. Any further harm could cause death to the cell or damage to the cell. The neurometabolic cascade can take many days before the neuron turns back to being a normal neuron. This happens because the rapid increase of potassium and calcium. Potassium will normalize in roughly 12 minutes, whereas the calcium can take up to 6 days to normalize. Glutamate and glucose represent the hyperglycolysis state. Glucose will return to normal after 20 minutes, but dropping below the normal threshold in 6 hours, and not normalizing for up to 6 days. Cerebral blood flow will also be diminished for up to 6 days.